Yeah, hey. Thank you. Wow, it is awesome to be here because there's this movement happening right now, and Bioneers has always, I think, been the epicenter for that movement. I mean, this is a place where science, spirit, respect for indigenous knowledge, social justice all comes together. So I kind of feel like we're in a temple, right? And it's wonderful to be part of this tribe, and I really appreciate the pioneering work of Kenny and Nina to have seeded this wonderful, wonderful event. You know, I've been traveling around the world this last year, really lucky. I've been working on this project where I've been able to see some of the greatest wonders of the world. I've been to Iguazu Falls in Brazil, the Serengeti in Africa, but I've also seen some of the negative effects of climate change. I was in Beijing, right outside of Beijing. We were shooting the Great Wall of China, and we weren't able to lift off in a helicopter because it was unsafe to fly because the visibility was so bad from the smog. I literally couldn't see the Great Wall 150 feet off the ground. So we had to wait several days for the air to clear. And then I went to Greenland, and the indigenous villagers told me how they weren't able to hunt anymore with their dogs and their sleds because the ice is too thin because of global warming. And in Fiji, I went to some of the smaller islands, and already many of those villages are succumbing to the rising sea levels. So I got a call from Lynn Lear, who had agreed to make an opening film for the UN Climate Summit, and she asked if I would help her. Obviously, I said I would, but I'm traveling around the world. So we made a film virtually from the rainforests and from glaciers. I Skyped, we Vimeoed, we pulled together imagery from my library and from news sources. We reached out to fellow eco-warriors like Hans Zimmer to do the music, and because we were going to be speaking at the UN, we needed the voice of God to get to these leaders. So we got Morgan Freeman to do the voiceover. Yay! And we were able to present it, several weeks ago at the summit inside the General Assembly. But before we went, thank you. So what was really awesome though was the march 2 days before, because the people needed to tell these leaders to get off your ass and do something before it's too late, right? So that morning I went to Central Park. I got there kind of late. The march was about to start. Amazing group in front of indigenous leaders from all over the world. I jumped the barricade because I went right in the middle of the street. The cops looked at me and I gave them the Jedi wink. They said, "I'm cool, you're cool, I belong to be here, everything's okay." And I stood there and the march just like washed over me. It was awesome. Indigenous people, workers, labor union leaders, teachers, doctors, grandparents, children, and marginal people, students from Yale and Harvard telling their universities to divest the investments they make in fossil fuel companies. Everybody was saying, don't screw with the planet. We deserve to have clean air. Polluters have no right to pollute our atmosphere and kill the foundation of life on Earth. So we went. So here we are at the UN. It was really awesome. The film plays. President Obama speaks. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon speaks. Cool thing is Leo DiCaprio speaks. Yeah. He tells these leaders, he goes, look, I'm an actor for a living. You guys are leaders. And if you don't do something, history will vilify you for not taking action. Powerful statement, right? But all of you have more power than they do. Because these leaders are politicians, right? They have to go back to their country to get permission. Obama's got to go back to the Congress to get permission. That's not going to happen, right? They're behind the eight ball. We can't rely on governments to take the necessary action. You guys have the power. 400,000 people marched in New York City. What we need is conscious leaders that create conscious cultures, conscious people, conscious economies where everybody flourishes. That's what biomimicry is all about, right? When things are connected and the foundation of life flourishes, everybody benefits. So that's a lesson we can take, that is, we can take to our heart. You know, one of the things that made me realize this was years ago. I was filming Prince Charles on this documentary called Harmony, and he had all these handlers around him. And Prince Charles is a good guy, eco-warrior, right? But he had to be careful for every statement he made because in the future he might be the King of England, and he didn't want anything to come back to haunt him, right? I'm sitting here behind the camera, I'm thinking, I've got more power than that guy does. I can say whatever I want. I've got that freedom, you know? You guys have that freedom, you know, because it's going to happen from a grassroots level. That's where the change is going to occur. So I'm going to show you guys a sequel to the film that I showed at the UN, and it's actually going to also be shown tonight at the Environmental Media Awards, which E-Television is going to broadcast. But you guys are the real VIPs. This will be the first public screening of this film. And the goal is to definitely have us speak up. You know, I'm passionate about this topic because my parents were Holocaust survivors, and I remember people always say, well, wow, how could that have happened? You know, how could there be this mass extinction of a race? It's because people were silent. All of us have a responsibility to raise our voices. But together, united, we can make a world of difference.
In the beginning, there was earth. Paradise. An unspoiled sanctuary of beauty. The only place in the known universe capable of creating and sustaining life. Before humans came along, the Earth was in perfect harmony, right? Well, not quite. The Earth has always been home to chaos and violence, constantly changing through what can be a brutal process of trial and error. We are a product of this evolution. The first and only species so far capable of replicating nature's uncanny power of creation and destruction. Over time, we have literally changed the face of the Earth. So much so that the harm we've done seems irreversible. We're told that the Earth is dying, and we must save it. It's a heroic notion, but it hasn't been very effective in changing our behavior so far. Nor is it true. The Earth isn't in danger. Not yet. It has survived through far worse than this, but it is changing. We are in danger. Mass extinction has happened on Earth before, and because of our actions, it is on the verge of happening again. Which means changing our actions moving forward is the one thing that can prevent our extinction. Our best chance for survival lies in continuing to imitate nature, drawing inspiration from its awesome power. Consider mycelium, a mass of filaments beneath the soil that allows the natural world to distribute nutrients and information without a central brain. It's not so different from the internet, which allows us to share ideas and work to form a common vision for a shared future. Most of us understand intellectually that we are connected to each other and our fate is tied to our planet. But now that we have the means and knowledge to effect change, we have to act. We've already found many of the answers we need in the natural world. process of changing the Earth back into a place that will support us is well underway. Progress is being made, and there is reason to be optimistic. The more we do, the more the Earth will help rebuild and remake itself. What is needed is a concerted effort. This isn't a challenge that just a few countries or world leaders can fix on their own. It's going to take all of us, through actions large and small. One day, very soon, we'll be asked, what did we do? And we'll say, we did everything we could. We have to. Because if we don't, there won't be anyone left to ask. We have never faced a crisis this big, but we have never had better ideas to solve it. This is our only home. You can choose today to make a world of difference.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah! Thank you. Thank you very much.